The only thing that literally brings me out or that makes me stand in front of an audience, that has given me some sort of confidence over time is music. Every word in Yoruba fits into a musical piece. That's why a Yoruba person will hear do 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 and then just like, okay, this bird is saying Odiri Koko. Like, why did you guys
How did you
how did
how
you
did you
come about
translate
that?
that?
How did you translate that? Yes. So recently I just got to know the meaning of this popular Vulin Leila.
Okay.
Mera
What's the name? I'm interested. I'm really interested.
So you'd be surprised that it was a wedding song. I also believe in slow and steady. I believe in
Okay.
consistency. I'm not in a rush to get some validation or public
Acceptance or something.
acceptance or something. Yeah. I want to cook and let the food be very tasty enough that the aroma calls like, I mean, wait, what's going on there? So if I'm in Ibadan and you need me, like, you look for me, you come to Ibadan. Like, I mean, there's something that I heard of that is tasting so nice here. Like, I want to have a taste. Like, you'd come and see it for yourself. I didn't have any single recorded track of my own. Now, I had done a lot of tracks for a lot of people. I find myself back on track. I'm like, we're doing this. And like, devil, you got nothing on me. Like, this is going to happen. Whichever way, I don't even know how it's going to happen. It's going to happen. Let me just
Whether or whether.
I've learned a lot from this podcast.
Hi, welcome to the first episode of this podcast, DUNUM with Deda, and I'm so excited because this is a podcast I've been wanting to do for a very long time, and this is dedicated to everyone. When I say everyone, because I believe everyone has a potential, gift, talent, passion, whatever you want to call it. There is something that God has given you that you should use to profit. Now, profit is relative, though. Yeah, exactly. But everybody has that gift and potential. My name is Deda Akionla, and DUNUM stands for Discover, Understand, Nurture, Utilize, and Maximize Your Potential. So I'll be interviewing a lot of talented, amazing people, and they're going to be taking us through that process of discovering, understanding, nurturing, utilizing, and maximizing their potential. And on my first episode, I have the amazing singer. She has a very sonorous voice. I think I've told her about this before. The first time I heard her sing, I was like, who is this person? Because I sing also once in a while, but I've retired a bit. All right, but don't forget to like and subscribe this YouTube channel. This is my YouTube channel, so that you can enjoy more and more of these interviews. So I have with me Fumilayo Ayedogmo, but she's popularly known as Odere. Yes, I'm sure a lot of people would recognize the name Odere. How are you doing?
I'm good. Good morning.
Yeah.
Nice to be here.
Yeah, it's good to have you though, and I know
Pleasure
it's
is
been
mine.
it's been a long time coming. I've been wanting to do this, so it's good to have you, the almighty, amazing Odere. Yeah,
Just
this
service.
the singer, songwriter. What else? What else do you do?
Direct, music director.
Music director.
I compose, of course, write, so many things.
So many things.
Musically, yeah.
Oh, okay. So your world is just basically music,
Not just music, but music is a big chunk
or of
of
it.
it, yes.
Oh, okay. All right. So let's start. Let me start by asking you, Odere. That's an identity you've created for yourself. That's a name. It's beyond the name. It's an identity and all that. And before people would remember Fumilayo, they remember Odere. Yeah, exactly. So how did you come about the identity, Odere?
So let's say Odire found me.
Oh, okay.
So I remember like far back many years ago, I think probably secondary school, I had, somewhere, somehow at the back of my mind, I knew that there was going to be the music part and I would want to like professionally sing. So I thought of different possible names. You don't even want to know the,
I
the
would
name
like to
combinations.
give me an idea. Give me an idea.
There was one that was really funny. Somebody was like, what about Irawo? I'm like, what is that? And for some reason, whenever I see the graphics, there was one graphics, we did some song back then, all those songs that never made it to the air.
Okay.
And it was myself and the person that sang, and it was dash 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 featuring Irawo. I still used to see that graphics. I'm like, what's this? What's this? So eventually when Odere came, I didn't pick Odere, but I'd been singing in different places. I wasn't using any name. I don't think I was doing that professionally at the time. It was just me exploring my passion. And then somebody somewhere at some events just said, ọmọ tó kọrin bí ẹyẹ òdèrè yẹn dà. And you know, music people and, you know, the choir people in quotes and all of that. We are very, very comic, very comic group of people. So everybody just like, what's that? And then they started making it a thing. I'm like, guys, stop now. And from one person to two people to three people, and at some point I'm like, okay, this name safe. May I go do my research? What's this Odere about? I know that Odere is the bird. There's the bird that the Yorubas call Odere Koko, from the way it sounds.
What's the English name?
It's a mourning dove. Some people also call it the laughing dove.
Oh.
But it's majorly the mourning dove if you check around. So it's a mourning dove. Well, especially in this part of the world, you'd have heard that sound anytime you wake up. Especially it sounds in the afternoon, so but early mornings you always hear that do 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 sound. Whether the bird is far away, he has a really loud voice. So if it's closer, you only hear it very much louder. But it's, you know, so that was the bit I knew about the birds then. So I did my research. I'm like, okay. And then, you know, there's something with when you hear something more than once or twice and it starts to stick subconsciously. I'm like, okay, I think we can actually make do with it. Plus, I've always been a staunch believer in my identity, which is, who am I? What do I stand for? I'm a child of who? What do I do? Like, things that define me. And I've always been a fan. Well, let me not say a fan. I've always liked to stand by my identity as a Yoruba girl. So it made more sense that the name was actually Yoruba. The Yorubas gave that bird that name because it sounded like that to them. The sound the bird makes. And Yoruba is a group of people that we like to. I think that if probably in some other way would have said Yoruba, I would have said Yoruba is the most musical tribe to ever exist, because
arguably,
yes. So why I'm saying that is that even the sounds, the pronunciations that we make are musically inclined. You have the do re mi, and you have words in Yoruba that every word in Yoruba fits into a musical piece. We have instruments that are musically inclined. That's, you know, you have the talking drum. Drum, it's a musical instrument, but it talks, you know. So you have that thing with the Yoruba people and all. So I'm like, okay, that's why a Yoruba person will hear do 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 do, and then just like, okay, this bird is saying Odiri Koko. Like, why did you guys? how did you come about that? How did you translate that? Yes. So I gradually fell in love with the name, and I'm like, okay, let's make it work.
Wow, that's interesting. You mentioned something about identity, and I want to link it to defining your niche as per what you, the niche you've defined for yourself in terms of music. So, what is the link between your personal identity with what you do? Is there a connection, or are they two different? Because you see the likes of some people now, their personality might be different from what they do. No.
So for me, it's very interwoven. My personality is basically reflected in my music. So my music, or my style of music, is the folk, African folk music. So yes, it might be contemporary. So if we're doing indigenous African music, we're making it also modern. So as much as it's indigenous, or it has its indigenous roots, we're also refining it to sound modern. So a relative, a Gen Z can relate to an Akpala song
Mm-hmm.
because the Akpala song has been brought forward. So it's Akpala, but then it's not the Akpala that we used to listen to back in the days. And how we have the refined Akpala. That's just an
An
example.
example, yeah.
Yeah. So my identity personally, if you my name, my where I come from, how I do my things always reflects my. You can literally say, oh, this girl is probably, well, except for those that say I look like an Edo girl. I
Yes, you
get
do.
that. Well, I don't know how, but I keep hearing that. But apart from people that say that, you can almost, by my actions and inactions, say that this person is probably a Yoruba girl, one way or the other. So sometimes I like to dress the part. Sometimes if I don't dress the part, I look or feel or, give that, you sense it
Yeah.
one way or the other.
So I read a bit about you. I try my best not to read so much about guests. I just like so that I'll be shocked at some of the things you're saying, like I'm learning
Okay.
from the first time and all. So you got influenced by the likes of Lauryn Hill and all that. So your journey started, was it from R&B kind of, or was it a mixture of everything together before you said that, oh, this is what I really want to focus on? Like you're taking from there, and
Exactly.
all
It was
that.
more of taking from here and there. So I think that initially when I started, I didn't have a position I wanted to stay at. It was all just coming to me, but I was attracted to some styles of music or some people's patterns. The Lauren Hills, like you said, the Angelique Kidjos, the Ashas, and Beautiful Nubias, Lagbajas, and all. I was somehow drawn more to them. So of course I mean, I've been in R&B settings. I've even been with live bands that, we do repertoires, we do a lot of songs. I'm probably playing the Shadia Adus, the, different musical artists, in the past, or let me say in the past, who have, been in this for quite a while. So there has been a lot here and there, but somehow those that have been drawn to seem like my kind of people, and then they had a great influence on me when I started to write my own songs
Okay.
and when I start to pour out myself. So I think that every artist or musician is only expressing themselves the best way that they can.
Okay.
So aside from people that say, oh, what's in vogue now, let's do something in sync or in line with what's in vogue so we can sell. There are some artists like that. There are some that let me just pour out what is the essence of me into this space. There are artists like that. That's where you have, and I am hoping to get there. I respect artists like the Fellas, the Lagbajas. These people created their own genres of music.
They were very
So,
unique with the
yes, so
style of
he
music.
started with them. So that was them pouring out their essence, and it became something. Africa Calypso is anywhere is Lagbaja, Afro is anywhere is Fela.
Fela, yeah.
And then a number of them like that, the Beautiful Nubias and all. So I learned a lot of these people that pour their essence. So what I do is also when I try to write, I pour my essence into it. I
Into
just
it,
stay in the mood of what I want to do. That also reflects when I'm directing music or I'm trying to write for musicals. I also do stage play musicals.
Okay.
So you have a piece, you have a script, there's a storyline, and then the director wants they want original songs that will fit or match that storyline. So you have to get into that mood and then pour your essence into that. So they really influenced me. And one thing I learned from most of those people you mentioned are the ability to, let me just call it pouring of essence. I'm
Pouring
trying
of
to look for a
essence.
better way to put it, but I mean the ability to speak you to people, and
okay.
then when people listen, people sing you. So when you do a song like that, you reflect yourself. By the time they probably didn't know what to believe or what state of mind to be in, but by the time they listen to you, they key into your state of mind, and that's pure music.
Wow, pure music. You mentioned something now. So some people just do what trends in terms of music, and some, they want to pour the essence and all that. Now, how do you balance? Because I've heard artists say, give the people what they want.
Yes. Yes.
About just give them what they want. If you really want them to listen, to just give them what they want and all that. There was a time I used to work at a record label, and one of the rap artists said that he, what's it called? That the song that made him blow,
In quotes.
in quotes, he didn't like it. I was like, why that song was like that wasn't the song they didn't like it. They had to just convince him that just release this song. This song is going to blow. That the real song that this person has blown. Now the real song he wants to do right now, it's not like popular and all that, and people might not, So that challenge of this is I want to, like you said, pour out your essence. But what if the essence is not what people want to hear at that point in time? What do you do?
So it depends on what you want
Okay.
from going into music. Is it about you or is it about them? There's also the part where you have to strike a balance between what you're offering and what they're accepting. There's also the part where you need to understand your audience. Everybody is not always your audience.
Mm.
So we have artists, I don't know if I can mention names.
Yeah, you can. Sure.
Okay. So take for instance, let's say Asha for instance. In this part of Nigeria, Asha is a Nigerian and all of that, but Asha's core
Audience
are
They're
not
not Nigerians.
necessarily Nigerians. Yes.
Or Nigerians living in Nigeria.
Yes.
Mhm.
So the number of us that love her music, we love her style and all of that, but I think she has chosen her audience. So your audience is the audience that you're feeding that matters. Yeah, then you also actually have to strike a balance. Sometimes when these things come to you, for those of us in quotes that pour our essence into it comes to you very raw, and you might need better interpretation so that when it gets to them, the same feeling that you got when you were creating is passed down. So that's also where you have the producers in quotes. So if you also have a producer who is in sync with you, the person understands you, understands your style, even understands what you're not saying or what you're not singing out, it helps better when they are passing the message. So theirs is just to refine or clean it, still maintain the raw feel of what you're bringing, but also communicate it to people in the way that they get to understand. Because music is basically language communication.
Yeah.
We're just passing. There is some set of people, or there's a style of music that I have recently come across where we're not necessarily singing words,
Okay.
but we're singing rhythms. So that's and you'd be surprised that just by singing rhythms or sharing rhythms, the other person is falling in love with it. That's what makes it possible for someone to sing, for instance, an Indian song that
And
you
you still
don't
connect.
understand, but then you can probably even sing almost every word like you understood it, or a South African song. Recently, I just got to know the meaning of this popular Vulin Lela.
Okay. What's the meaning? I'm interested. I'm really interested.
So you'd be surprised that it was a wedding song, and everybody. I mean, all the while, I'm
Really?
saying recently, as in this year. Recently was when
Wow.
I got to know. Like I was working on something. I'm working on something for an upcoming project,
Okay.
and I have a section where I'm working with classic African songs. And of course, Willing Leila is one of the classic African songs. I'm like, what does this
What's
song
the
even
meaning?
mean? Like,
Now that's interesting. A wedding song. Wow.
Yeah. And she was telling the story about the boy child and all of that. And, the couple. And I'm like, Like, we probably even sang the song or played it at, occasions that didn't even
Yeah.
match. But the thing was that something was communicated, was the rhythms of the song, and all of that. So, back to your question, there is do you want to just do it for them? Or what do they want? And then just give it to them. Of course, people are interested in so many things. There is also that satisfying the majority, but there is also your core essence. What's the you that you want to share? If everybody just did what they want to hear and then just give it out, I don't think that we'll have the likes of the fellas and all of that who started something. They shared something. We didn't know that we wanted it, or we wanted to listen to it, or we we would like it or something. But they gave it to us, and then
We accepted it and we loved it. And it's timeless.
timeless.
Yeah. So was there a time in your life whereby you were like, oh, I want to go how do I put it down? Is it commercial? Like, oh, get a record deal, get a producer, be like the Tiwas, of this world, you wanted to get into Lagos,
Lagos
yeah,
market.
Lagos market, and you're like, let me just, let me go all out and all, let me go for, be just there. And, was there a time that you wanted to do that and you were like, oh, no, let me just do my own
So
thing?
I've never really been that kind of person. In fact, not until recently when I decided to start owning up to my own style and my own pattern or my own crafts. Before then I've been pretty much introverted. My natural me
Oh,
is very much introverted. So the only thing that literally brings me out or that makes me stand in front of an audience, that has given me some sort of confidence over time is music. Because only when I'm in that space is when I'm able to, okay, I'm not looking at you guys' faces, it's about what we're doing right now. I'm sorry to David. I remember the very first time I stood in front of about a 1005 audience.
okay.
That was back in school when, of course, freshers and all of that. Then we joined the choir, of course, by default. And we were supposed to perform. That was the first performance on a Sunday. And we had gone for rehearsals. They gave us a song. I was really interested. And we had to score the songs. And they said, okay, so we need somebody to lead this song. And a few of us came out. We sang, this one sang, this one sang. And then it's like, okay, this person will sing it. I'm like, wow, my
Okay,
first
girl.
big gig. And, it was me in front of the audience. And it was time. And I was like, I could barely move my feet. And okay, lead singer, and they were already bringing the lead mic. And I remember holding that mic on stage, looking at the audience, and the mic was literally like this. I remember the song I was singing, the wordings, and I'm like, like I was literally shivering. I'm like, wow, now so this thing will be. So if not for that, I don't think that I really want to be, all out there. But then it is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And I also believe that I have something in me that the world needs to see. I also believe that what I have is very beautiful, and it would not be nice. It would be unfair to the world to just lock it up somewhere.
It would be a crime. It would be a sin.
A serious crime. So not to share it with the world. So in terms, I also believe in slow and steady. I believe
Okay.
in consistency. I'm not in a rush to get some validation or public acceptance or something. Yeah. I want to cook and let the food be very tasty enough that the aroma calls like, wait, what's going on there? So if I'm in Ibadan and you need me, like, you look for me, you come to Ibadan, like, there's something that I heard of that is tasting so nice here. Like, I want to have a taste. Like, you'd come and see it for yourself. So wherever I choose to be, if I settle anywhere, you would want to come and say that there's something there. So I'd rather be in that space than look for some sort of
Validation.
validations here.
I used to have a friend, shout out to Fash. Yes, Fash. He's a saxophonist and all that. And so it's like similar to you in so many ways, but he does his own with the saxophone and all that. And he's into, and we were like, at the point in time, my guy was broke, but it was broke. And we were like, guy, do something to me. He said, no. I have to cook my my sound. I have to. I'm like, life is cooking you. You are cooking sound. I don't understand. And he went back to school. This guy is good. He had to go back to school for music. No, there's some things that we still have to. I was like, guy, what I'm hearing is good. Like, come on, just so there is this part of artists, people that want to pour out their essence, like you said, trying to cook, and sometimes they overcook. And they don't just allow the world to see. And they're like, no, it means that yearning for perfection. Like, I want it to be perfect before I release it. You understand? Now, how do you actually balance it? Because Um, so some artists that blew or they've blown in the past, they blew with one song. Then people would now, oh, who is this artist? Then they realize that they've released a lot of materials in the past. Then they go back
and
start listening, and that's actually the blowing in that sense, not that one song, but the fact that people go back to your work and they're like, oh, and all that. So there's this school of thought that says, look, push it out there. Even if it's not perfect to you as an artist or as a creative person, don't deprive people of the process of that your journey and all that. But this is also, I want to be, there's a bit of let it be perfect, and for people, especially for music people, you just want to. There's this sound. I still need one more sound. I need one more sound, and all that. Yeah. So how do you balance these two things together?
So I think that it has a lot to do with the people in your circle, the people that surround you. So sometimes it's not, we don't intend to, but we are in that space where there's still a little bit more. This song is not sounding right yet, and I don't want to record this song yet, and all of that. But then, it's like you said, it's us that is probably seeing it in that way. The people that are listening to it, I mean, they are hearing all that they want to hear. So the only reason why it feels that way to us is that because we are the origin of that creation. Okay. So it probably came to you some way, and you're trying to make it in that particular way and all. But I have also had to have a mind shift to at least put it out. When I started my concert last year with the Real Life, I wasn't in any space ready for it. I mean, I think, in fact, I remember when I eventually agreed to do it, and I reached out to a few of my friends. I'm like, most people's reaction were like, finally, like, what have you been waiting for? Like, okay, now, like, we can roll. And I'm like, okay.
Sorry to cut you short. I remember I've seen you perform at different occasions. Like, I was saying you performed at the Primus Awards.
Yeah, Primus Awards.
Yeah, even before then, I've seen you back up, and there was a time, because I wasn't in Ibadan for a while, so I came back to Ibadan, and I saw you perform in few, and honestly speaking, I thought to myself, okay, when is she going to do her thing? Like, I actually thought about it. So when you came up with Odere Live last year, I was like, oh, okay, finally someone is making a stand in Ibadan to do something, different. Musical, something different and all that. I just wanted to chip that in. Yeah.
Yes, so I got that a lot. I got that remark from a lot of people. So even as at then, I didn't have any single recorded track of my own. Now, I had done a lot of tracks for a lot of people, like background vocals, features and all of that, but I had never done a single thing for myself. In fact, even in some other areas, I had been very poor in documenting my experiences. Oh, you're going for this. Nowadays, people document this event. I don't document, because I just like to be in my space. It's all about that moment for me, like in that moment. And also it was much later I started regretting, oh God, I had done this piece, I had directed this. I mean, where is all of that content?
Portfolio,
there is no portfolio for
it.
So I mean, life is changing. Like the Yorubas will say, ayenyi and to. So you have to also, because eventually that's your CV.
Yeah.
Not everybody is going to be in the moment with you to see those things. So you actually need to document. I learned that, or I'm learning that, in my journey right now. So I've started to, even if you check my IG page, what you see are the most recent events and all that I'm going for. Then I'm intentional about, okay, I'm going for this event. Have someone go with me to document and all of that. So back to where we're coming from. You need to actually strike a balance. It's not going to, the moments would keep coming, and we cannot actually get perfection when it comes to creativity. Either as music or painting or dancing, is never going to be perfect. When you watch it again, even my last event, I remember watching it again, I'm like, oh God, I wish I had done this, and I needed to put this. Oh, why didn't I did this at Riaza? Why didn't I put this here? And it's never really going to be perfect. So we always would look at it with imperfection. But if you also have a good team around you, like I said earlier, your team keeps driving you. Kudos to Uncle Jimmy, we call him Jizzy, Jimmy Adiboye. Kudos to Mr. Rain. Kudos to M Sticky. Of course, kudos to my husband too.
Oh.
Especially. So there are some people that would be around you that, whatever, so even when you're breaking down at it and you can't really find your footing, they are the ones that keep guide, and they also have to be in sync with what you do. So they also have to understand, they need to know, okay, this is this brand, this is what it stands for, and this is what we want to push. So that way, if everybody is in sync, even when the source of it is down, they can
To get to help you.
exactly.
So let's talk about people for a bit now. So you've emphasized the need for having the right people around you. Was there a time you had the wrong set of people around you? Because I've come to realize that sometimes it's not even about you being gifted or being talented or opportunities. It's just the people that surround you. You hear of artists that they once blew, and because
The
of
ones blue.
because of the people that surrounded them, because of their management team or
They make bad
whatever it is,
decisions and all.
they just make bad decisions, and that is it for them. So, was there a time you had those wrong set of people around you, and how did you just sieve them out to pick the right set of people that you have right now?
Okay, I don't think I've ever had the wrong set of people around me. I think that what has only happened is maybe the people around me not realizing the potential of me beside them.
Okay.
So I think that's the only thing I can say. I wouldn't say that they were wrong or bad people, and I've not had any deadly or serious mistakes that has been influenced by anyone. So the only thing is that once you share yourself, I think that the right people get attracted. Sometimes they are always there or they've been there all the while, but because you've not given out something, they've not had a reason to key into something, there's been nothing to plug into. But then when you show that part of it, okay, let me also take for instance my previous project, Odire Live, the one for last year. That was the first time I was doing it, and it was relatively new. I just wanted to change the idea of musical concert, especially in Ibadan, and do my thing, do it in a different way. And we just threw it out, opened it for about 200 persons. Let's see how it goes. It was more like me testing the waters and all of that. But then I knew I had something good to share. So Ibad as Ibad. Even if we don't sell all the tickets, we shall have like an half filled all. But then guess what? We sold all the tickets. We even sold a little more. And it was good. Fast forward to this year, we're having another one in May again. And I've had people, at least last year was just me trying to do something. But between okay, let me say less than a year, I've had people reach out to say, oh, what do you need? Anything that you need, I would like to support or volunteer. And I'm like, if I didn't open up that portal last year, nobody be calling to volunteer into anything. So you need to actually give out chunks, and then when the right people will actually find their way to you. We just get drawn to each other. It might not even be somebody who attended. It might be someone who just saw a clip somewhere. I'm like, oh, I'd like to work with this person. And then they try to reach out to you. I'm like, oh, I just like your style of this. And I would want to support in this way. I would like to be part of your team. I had a lot of that, for this year. Though, of course, we are not even near where we want to be. But at least we're making consistent, or putting consistent steps. And some people would actually just watch and be like, okay, did the first one, let's see.
Do the second one.
The second one, okay, let's see. And, even when I was trying to look for sponsorship, I didn't get so much. But I got some people that, just entertained me, just listen to what I had to say. And like, okay, they might not be giving me positive answers as of now. But some of them will just be, let's just see. Let's see what the next 2 years look like, or 3 years. Then probably they would now even reach out themselves and say, oh, we want to now do this or something. So just keep dishing it out. The right people would find their ways to you, and when the wrong people even find their way to you, you would know. So it's you that also has to now decide what to do or how to put them in their spaces.
That reminds me. So I do voiceovers too. So I'm in an organization, JCI, of JCI, and until recent, everybody have been saying that I do voiceovers until I did a project. I did a project recently for JCI Ibadan, and The moment the project dropped, these people they've known me for a while, understand? And I just started getting DMs. I'm like, oh, guys, I need to work on it. So I'm like,
But I've been here all the while.
come on, like, I've been here all this while, and you guys didn't even. But until they saw something that I did, and they were like, oh, okay, now maybe it came to their remembrance and said, okay, then we'll give this. And I totally agree with that aspect of the fact that you have to do something, irrespective of, how you. I don't have support. Just do it. You realize that some of the people, or let me say some of the people that you need to get to the next stage are already around you, and they're just waiting for you to do something, and it just attract them and all that. So I totally agree with that. Now let's talk about so your opinion as a creative person. What category of people do you need most to surround you? We have, I mean, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but now you mentioned some people right now, but what do they represent? That's my question, basically. Like, oh, this person is a critic, this person is a manager, this person is a supporter, the roles that they play. So because, like I said earlier on, it's important that as a creative person you have people represent some certain roles in your life. People that, hey, you're doing well. Some people like, look, what you did, you have to watch it and all that. So for you, what are the most important roles you need to feel as a creative person in order to get you?
So I don't think I'm a role person.
No, okay.
I think I'm just my people person. So I think that people that are interested in you, first off, interested in like what you do, or I mean, you can't have it's just like having a very big artist or a very big producer who is into a particular genre of music, for instance, which is not your genre, and because they are big in quotes, you want them to, or you want to work with them, it may never work because what that person is looking out for is probably different from what you are looking out for. So it's also, let me take it into the music. Now I remember there was this experience where I said this a lot. Back in school, we had Kenny Corey come perform in school, and it was everybody, Kenny Corey is coming and this and that. And while they were performing, they were the we guys, the music lovers, and all of that. Were always the clique. We're always together, and sure, you got boy playing bang and all of that. And there was some point where it happens to the best of us, where Kenny went a bit off. I think it was off timing or maybe off key and all. And it took less than, say, 2 seconds for them to align. Like, it just like, we almost thought that we didn't hear what we heard. If not that we were all together. I'm like we all knew that something went off a bit. But the comeback was like, guy, what happened?
So seamless.
Yeah, so he spoke to a lot of, these guys have bonded together, these guys, teamwork and all of that. And I remember we got talking about it much later, and we're like, we mentioned some other big keyboardists that we knew, because it was more of the keyboardists that, and then everybody just aligned. So we mentioned one other big keyboardist that we knew that, all of us regard as the dawn, or like, one of the best, and like, it probably wouldn't have happened if we had that person on the project. Why? They might not have that synergy or that luck or something. So I remember that was a takeout of the entire conversation, that he also spoke to the fact that he might not even be as good as that best of the best, but then they understood that synergy. So also, or likewise, when picking the people around you, it has to be the people who understand what you are doing. So whether they are fitting into PR or they are fitting into managerial positions, or maybe one of them, like in my own field, is the music producer, or maybe a director, or whatever fields or areas, or maybe the stage manager, or whatever it is, they all have to agree with what is this person's craft. A good manager for a T.Y. Bello, let me say Tiwa Savage, for instance, may not be
The best
the
fit for
best
you.
for a simi or something. Let me even go extreme. Maybe let's pick somebody who is a manager for a Beyonce, and a style of music and a pattern. I said extreme, right? May not be the best fit for a Pasuma.
Okay, that's
That's really
that's
extreme.
really extreme.
Yeah. So extreme in the
Definitely,
sense
it's not, no matter how skillful the person is, it can be.
of so the thing is that,
Unless Pasuma wants to sing R&B though.
do you want to imagine that? So the thing is that person also has to understand, okay, like the Fuji part, what does Fuji need, what does it require, the audience, the style, the everything, and how does this person interpret Fuji to them. Compared to Auntie Beyonce. What's her style and all of that, and how do even in a style of music, there are a lot of them who do the R&Bs and pops and all, but how does this person interpret it to them? So also any other form of arts, be it dancing, even painting or whatever, whoever the artist is, there's something that is them, their own essence, in quotes. So how does that interpret to them? And then we can all key around it. Then we can say, okay, this is this thing you are giving to the world. But then we need to do this and this. This is the update in terms of publicity. This is the update in terms of advertisement. This is how they're doing it now. So how do we position this already existing thing to fit into this space? So they have to be your you people that understand you.
So aside from the people being good at what they do, they have to understand like what you do and the vision. They have to be in sync with you, basically. Wow, that's actually insightful. All right. Final lap of the questions. Giving up. Was there a time you wanted to give up? I said, look, you studied microbiology, am I correct?
Yes, I did.
And so, just to digress a bit, did you want to study medicine and they gave microbiology? Because I guess most people...
My dad wanted medicine.
Oh, okay.
I never wanted medicine.
So you've always been music all the way?
No. So I actually loved sciences. I still do love science.
Okay.
I still practice, actually.
Oh, really?
Yes.
As?
Research officer.
Wow. That's interesting.
So I'm
also a science... I don't... Do I? Well, I do a bit of production, so that counts.
What are you producing?
Content. And I studied engineering, so it's oh no, you enter.
Well, you're producing something. Okay, so I knew that medicine was going to be a fast stretch, though initially when I had my love for science, it was ophthalmology, but then when I looked at it, I had to study medicine and then do this, and okay, now let's not do that. So I also knew that I was serious, but then the seriousness does not have to be too serious. Let's just be on an average. So I low-key, when I was feeling for medicine that my dad wanted, I was low-key hoping that this microbiology must go. Let them just not overlook let them overlook that, and so I just wanted to have time to maybe I knew that there was going to be other things that I would be more invested in. So I didn't want that to take so much of me that I could barely focus on other things. So it was that for me.
All right. So was there a time whereby you wanted to give up on music? I was like, this music thing, I'm not doing again. I don't want to do it again. Let me just be singing in my bedroom and just be singing to the oderes that come to sing to me every morning.
Sing back at
them, you know. And
so I've not gotten to a giving up stage. It would actually take a lot for me to give up. My person, yes, there are times where I feel down. I had my concert last year. I'm having one this year. I remember a few weeks ago, I was really down about it. I was really down with the progress of things and all of that. But I've also gotten to a place where I do self-motivation. So in a moment when I'm down, I'm probably very down. I'm facing the reality of it. This has not happened, this has not happened, there's no sponsorship, this. So yes, it can drain you, especially when you are not getting the support that you need yet. I mean, especially in terms of sponsorship and the likes, it can be draining when you feel like you're doing this alone. But yes, the people around you also matter. So I have a a small room where I go to and rant to them like this. I know that it's all in that moment. I'm expecting them. Then I also know which of them fills me up in which aspect. I know who I can talk to give, put me in a better headspace. That's why they are my people. So I know that when it's looking somehow, let me call GZ right now. And then I say this, and then we talk around it. We find some solutions. Sometimes we don't find all solutions, but at least it probably feels better. Then I also do self-motivation. So sometimes after I've ranted and all of that, then I probably try to sleep over it and I come back and trying to look at why did I start to do this thing, what and what. I try to focus on what the progress reports have actually really been so far. I know I'm not where I started, and I try to do all of that, talking to myself in my head. I think I usually feel that at those points, nobody can actually tell me the right thing. Even when my husband tries to say this, and I'm like, no, this is still this is still that. I'm like, okay, just be. And then in my just be moments, I just want to clear my head and, and some way, somehow, either with the people around me, either my husband talking sense into my head or some other of my team members talking sense into my head, or in the self-evaluation, I find myself back on track. I'm like, we're doing this. And like, devil, you got nothing on me. Like, this is going to happen. Whichever way, I don't even know how it's going to happen. It's going to happen.
Whether or whether.
I've learned a lot from this podcast.
Whether or whether.
Okay, whether or whether. This is happening and we're doing it. So I just put myself back. So if that qualifies as giving up or my near giving up stage, I think that's just, I always find my way back. I'm like, no, we're not even there yet. What have we even done? They've not even seen anything. Let's go.
We move. All right. Practically now, self-motivation. What do you do? Do you like look at in the mirror and be like, Badere, you can do it. Badere, you can do it. Or do you like just lock yourself in the and just pray? What do you do exactly? Give us practical, things that you do.
Self-motivation. You might not see me talking, but if you see me just moving about, picking this one, that's when I remember I want to sweep. Remember I want to wash clothes in the midnight. Remember I'm just being active, just getting my hands on one thing. But then while I'm doing all of that, I'm thinking in my head. So it's not even about the activity I'm doing or the chores I'm doing at the time. In my head, I'm processing. So it happens more in my head. Or I'm probably just driving, I'm doing one or two calculations, I'm probably lost in thoughts and all. But I'm just trying to fit in what's missing, like in my head. So I do most of my self-evaluations in my head. And I've done quite a lot of self-evaluations. A lot. Even when it's
I call it board meeting. You do a board meeting with yourself.
Board meeting with me, myself, and I.
Yes, it was like myself, me. Oh yeah, let's talk. Let's have a
myself,
meeting.
what do you have to say to this? And then I says, no, I, it's not your turn yet. It's still me talking.
I hope you don't walk on the streets doing this because
no.
they could else carry you and all that.
Well, except I've done that and I didn't know about it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
All right. So finally, let's talk about your upcoming project, Badere Live. Tell us about it. And what makes this one different from last year?
Okay. So last year was, I usually tag my events by the themes. So it's you might call it 1.0, 2.0, but I tag it by the themes. So last year was a music date. And why I tagged it that way was, or why we tagged it that way, my team and I, was it was more like an unveiling. It was a first of its kind. So Badere has done a number of projects here and there, sang here, sang there with this live band. We want to define Badere's space so that you guys get to know who she is. So let's go on a date. I mean, where else to meet get to know your partner or your date better than at a date. So it was a date. I remember we did graphics on dress the parts and all of that, so that we try to achieve some sort of date experience and code. So we even had two hosts. We had a male and a female. So they were on a date together. So just to create that sense, and then while everybody was there, you get to know Badere better and all of that. So fast forward from that, it felt good. And then I decided that this time around, I wanted to show people some other forms of art that music can also be reflected in. Like, let's show you how magical music can be. So this year we decided to call it Music Like Magic. So I mean, what happens in a magic show? You're expecting something, you see something else, or you didn't think that it was going to be there, and oh, it just appeared there, and So we decided to do a little bit of that and actually bring actual magic on stage.
Oh, really?
Yes, so we're actually going to perform.
Wow, that's interesting.
Sakura, abracadabra,
Hey,
stuff.
Harry Potter style, right?
Exactly. So infusing magic into music, infusing, in other forms of art. So when people get to see the flyer, you see some people on the flyer and you're wondering, oh, it's a music event. I'm expecting to see this artist, but what's happening? I'm seeing a narrator. Like, what's going on here? Like, tell me something. So I also know that the African culture, either Nigerian, Kenyan, anywhere, there's always this storytelling part. You have Tales by Moonlight, you have one old baba under the mango tree or whatever tree, the moonlight, telling stories to kids and all. And I decided, let's bring that part into this as well. So I've also done some projects where I directed music for stage musicals, and it doesn't go past getting a script, creating a musical piece, and at some point while the play is going on, music comes in and all. So I mean, there's our folklore with music. So I got a very good narrator, one of the best in Ibadan, and we chose a play, something nostalgic to also make us feel, a little hint. It's an Ijakpa story.
Oh,
so everybody remembers
the famous Ijakpa.
The famous Ijakpa is coming on board. So we have a storyline. We're telling a story. We are infusing it with music, original music, almost all true. I think just one song is in original, which is like the normal storyline. I mean, or storytelling vibe. So we created original pieces to it, and when we're having a fusion of that, so it's just showing people like a different aspect of what music can do, and there's also one other part. I spoke about expressions earlier where you sing things that are not necessarily words. So there's a part where I'll be singing my expressions.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and we are all going to vibe to it. I mean,
wow.
I remember we treating it at rehearsals, and people who have never heard, I mean, it's not even a language, but people who have never heard that before were vibing to it. So I mean, we're trying to, it's a magical experience. So we're trying to experience magic.
I'm getting sucked into that world right now. Like the way you define it, I was like, okay, I can't wait. Like my mouth is watering. Like, yeah.
So please, we need you guys to come. May 11th is the date. We're doing it at Solam Event Center at Oluyole, not far from here anyway. And we have tickets in categories. So last year we just did it's a date. Let everybody just come. One ticket for everybody. But now we're having tables. So we have a table for 5. We also have the regulars.
Okay.
So whichever suits you, want to come with your friends and buddies, you can try to sit on the table. And the way we created the stage, even the ambience and all of that, there's a reason why we're having tables in front. So I don't want to give it all out, but it's going to be magical.
This is enough already. May 11th. May 11th. So okay, Sunday. Perfect. What time?
Sunday evening. 3 p.m. for red carpet, then 4 p.m. for me.
Okay, so I can't wait to be there. I want to feel magic. Yes. No, this Nigeria nowadays. We need magic.
I was going to say that.
We need it. We need magic.
Our economy needs magic.
It's the hand of God. Hand of magic.
I tell you.
All right, it's been a wonderful time, spent with you. I mean, for me, and one of the major highlights is the people, as much as you're good and all that, man, you need the right set of people. You do. You need the right set of people and all that. Well, I don't want to repeat everything you've said, but I mean, I'm sure everyone that's watched this would actually have learned a lot of things. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
DUNUM with Deda. Yeah.
Thank you.
All right.
We can't wait to have you at Oduri Live too.
Yes. You mean me?
Yes.
Definitely, I'm coming now.
Watching.
Everybody out. Don't worry. Don't worry.
Tickets on Deda.
I didn't say that. All right. That's the end of today's, the first episode of this podcast. I'm sure you've been able to find out something, how to discover, understand, nurture, utilize, maximize your potential. And the next time I do the second episode, then we'll hear a lot of testimonies. Yeah. So All right. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share. Please share this video. You don't know, you might be helping someone out there. That's the point of this podcast, helping a lot of creatives, talented people out there. You know, the introverted ones, just like my guests, you know, and all. For you to just get to the next stage. We need a lot of stars, you know, flying in the sky in Nigeria and everywhere in the world. So this is the podcast for you. Anyways, till next time. Yeah. Bye.
The only thing that literally brings me out or that makes me stand in front of an audience, you know, that has given me some sort of confidence over time is music. Every word in Yoruba fits into a musical piece. That's why a Yoruba person will hear do 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 and then just like, okay, this bird is saying Odiri Koko. Like, why did you guys
How did you
come about
translate
that? How did you translate that? Yes. So recently I just got to know the meaning of this popular Vulin Leila.
Okay. What's the meaning? I'm interested. I'm really interested.
So you'd be surprised that it was a wedding song. I also believe in slow and steady. I believe in consistency. I'm not in a rush to get some validation or public acceptance or something. Yeah. I want to cook and let the food be very tasty enough that the aroma calls like, I mean, what's going on there? So if I'm in Ibadan and you need me, like, you look for me, you come to Ibadan, like, I mean, there's something that I heard of that is tasting so nice here. Like, I want to have a taste. Like, you'd come and see it for yourself. I didn't have any single recorded track of my own. Now, I had done a lot of tracks for a lot of people. I find myself back on track. I'm like, we're doing this. And like, devil, you got nothing on me. Like, this is going to happen. Whichever way, I don't even know how it's going to happen. It's going to happen.
Whether or whether.
I've learned a lot from this podcast.